Good morning, students. As lesson 1 has been completed, we will start lesson 2, that is, establishment of company power. In this chapter, we will see about the East India Company comes to East, then mercantilism, trade war, Battle of Plassey, Battle of Buxar, the Anglo-Mysore Wars, and the Anglo-Maratha Wars. Once upon a time, our country was known as the Golden Bird, and today we celebrate Independence Day. But once our country was ruled by the Britishers or British government, but today we are free. We have received freedom from the British government in 1947. Many European countries tried to come in India and also tried to settle their company in India. By the time the first English ship sailed down the west coast of Africa, round the Cape of Good Hope, and across the Indian Ocean, the Portuguese had already established their presence in the western coast of India and had their base in Goa. In fact, it was Vasco da Gama, a Portuguese explorer, who had discovered this sea route to India in 1498. Next, what is mercantilism? Mercantilism was an economic policy that was highly popular in Europe between the 16th and 18th century. Goods from the East, such as silk, porcelain from China, and cotton, spices, and jewelry from India, were very demanded in West. Soon trading companies began to be formed in different European countries to take advantages from India. With this intent, a small group of English merchants formed the English East India Company in 1600 in England, which was granted by Queen Elizabeth I. In 1600, the East India Company was given the Charter of Trade by their Queen to trade with India and Asia. After getting the charter to trade, ships of the East India Company landed in India to trade in spices, cotton, and sugar. Mughal Emperor Jahangir was the ruler when the British first came to India. British set up factory in Surat to store their goods. There were constant fights and wars between the British and European power. The Danish, Dutch, and the Portuguese lost the British. They were left with just a few settlements in India. The French and the British fought three bitter wars from 1746 to 1763. At the end of the three Carnatic Wars, the French were left with Pondicherry and Chandranagar, and the British became the main trading nation in India. At the end, the Battle of Plassey.
The Battle of Plassey. You will be able to list the factors that led to the Battle of Plassey. List the reasons for the defeat of Siraj-ud-Dowlah in the Battle of Plassey. The East India Company felt that the large fee demanded by the Nawabs and the local rulers to carry on trade was unfair. They also felt that the enlargement of settlements, buying of villages, and building of forts, which were banned by the Nawab, were necessary for the expansion of their trade. What the company wanted was a puppet ruler who would act in their favor. So they tried to replace the then Nawab of Bengal, Siraj-ud-Dowlah, with one of his rivals. This angered Siraj-ud-Dowlah, and he ordered the company to stop interfering in his government's affairs. He also ordered the company to stop fortifying their settlements and pay their taxes. When the company failed to accede to his demands, the Nawab marched with 30,000 of his men and took control of Qasim Bazar and Calcutta Fort. He cut off all supplies and support to the company's ships. To aid the company, armed forces were sent from Madras under the leadership of Robert Clive. The company's naval fleet was also sent. Robert Clive defeated Nawab Siraj-ud-Dowlah at a place called Palashi in 1757 in the famous Battle of Plassey. The main reason for Siraj-ud-Dowlah's defeat was Mir Jafar, one of his commanders, who turned traitor and never fought the battle. Robert Clive had promised Mir Jafar that he would be made Nawab after Siraj-ud-Dowlah for his services. The Battle of Plassey was the company's first victory on Indian soil.
So, children, we can say that the East India Company tried to replace Nawab Siraj-ud-Dowlah with a puppet ruler. Second point, we can say Siraj-ud-Dowlah took control of Qasim Bazar and Calcutta Fort. Third, armed forces under the leadership of Robert Clive were sent along with a naval fleet to fight Siraj-ud-Dowlah. Then Mir Jafar, one of Nawab Siraj-ud-Dowlah's commander, turned traitor and never fought the battle. At the end, Robert Clive defeated Nawab Siraj-ud-Dowlah in 1757 in the famous Battle of Plassey.